I was born to preach the gospel. I was born to preach the gospel. I was born to preach the gospel. And I sure do love my job. Yeah. I was born to preach the gospel. I was born to preach the gospel. I'm born to preach the gospel. I sure do love my job. Yeah. Yes, I really love my job. I'm a disciple that makes disciples that makes disciples. Oh, I'm a disciple that makes disciples that makes disciples. I'm a disciple that makes disciples that makes disciples. Yes, I'm a disciple that makes disciples that makes disciples. I'm a disciple that makes disciples that makes disciples. I'm a disciple that makes disciples that makes disciples. Get firmly rooted. So let's get firmly rooted. Let's get firmly rooted. So let's get firmly rooted. Oh, I'm a disciple that makes disciples that makes disciples. I'm a disciple that makes disciples that makes disciples. I'm a disciple that makes disciples that makes disciples. Let's get firmly rooted. Firmly rooted. Let's get firmly rooted. Yeshua, 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 Yeshua. I'm a disciple that makes disciples that makes disciples. We're disciples that make disciples that make disciples. We are disciples that make disciples that make disciples. We are disciples that make disciples that make disciples. Let's get firmly rooted. Firmly rooted.
Gentlemen, good morning and happy Wednesday morning. Firmly rooted men. Got my firmly rooted t-shirt on. Had a great meeting yesterday with the firmly rooted Greendale folk, and more to come on that. To my right off screen, I've got Kendall Davis. On the other side, we've got Elder Steve. And this morning we're going to be talking about ministry down here and where we might start hitting it and moving hard on getting some things done. Let's see who's on board. We have Ken Gooch is on board. I can see that. Brian Vlaming, I think you tried to call me while we were having a meeting. Let me know in a note down here whether you'd like me to call you back or whatnot. Bert Reggiani, good morning. There's Steve Giroux. Good morning. Who else do we got? Mike Sandbrink. Good morning, young man, and welcome, welcome, welcome. Guys, I want to look at Psalm 111, verse 10. It's just one verse. It's a Psalm of David, and I guess Matt Ryan, good morning. There he is right there. That's Matt Ryan saying good morning, fellas. If you didn't get a chance to listen to Matt's message from Sunday, did a great job, and certainly worthy of a listen. All right, Psalm 111, verse 10. The fear of the Lord is the beginning of wisdom. All who follow his precepts have good understanding, and to him belongs eternal praise. Anybody think that first phrase sounds familiar? The fear of the Lord is the beginning of wisdom. This is to maybe the dads and the grandpas out there. That's a phrase that we typically ascribe to Solomon, who in the book of Proverbs uses that phrase, I don't know, maybe 10, 12, 15 times. The fear of the Lord is the beginning of wisdom. And we oftentimes think that Solomon came up with that originally. And we also sometimes think that when he was asked, hey, what is it that you want from me, from God? He could have asked for anything, but he asked for wisdom. And God granted it to him. But what if, listen, what if the reason why he asked for wisdom is because for his whole life, his father taught him that's what is necessary. It's the highest gift of all. It's the greatest gift that God could ever give us, is the wisdom and discernment to see things rightly, to see things the way God sees them. And so what if Solomon's request to have wisdom over anything else was because of the influence that his father had on him? He says somewhere around Proverbs chapter 4, Solomon does, that I sat at my father's knee and I listened to him. It would make sense that David, after a man after God's own heart, was truly wise. That you can't be close to God and not be wise. And so I read this passage and I'm saying, man, David was repeating this all the time, and his sons heard it, and his sons heard it, and his sons heard it, and his sons heard it. And ultimately it had such an effect on Solomon. It's the one thing he asked of God. My father kept repeating, the fear of the Lord is the beginning of wisdom. God, I want wisdom. I want wisdom. So I guess I just want to talk just for a second about, we cannot underplay the effect that we have as men of God. We are supposed to be rooted men because there are people looking up at us. There are sons and daughters. There are people in the community. There are individuals. We're a walking billboard, and we're proclaiming some kind of message every day of our lives. And men, what if we began to hone in on what that message is? What we want people to see when our eyes are open and we're walking in our daily lives doing what we need to do. Lastly, what about this topic? The fear of the Lord is the beginning of wisdom. I find it interesting that most of us don't know what the fear of the Lord is. And without it, we can't even begin to start being wise. He doesn't say fear of the Lord is the culmination of wisdom. He says the fear of the Lord is just the beginning of true wisdom. I can't forget the time that I faced that verse and said, I don't know that I understand what fear of the Lord is, and if I don't understand what fear of the Lord is, then I can't even begin understanding wisdom. The fear of the Lord. God's God and I'm not. It starts right there. Although I can call him Father, and he is good, he is God. And he has a will, and I have a will. Mine needs to surrender to his. I have an opinion, he has an opinion. Mine has to surrender to his. He has a direction for my life. I have a direction for my life. Mine has to surrender to his. Why? He's God. He is the king of the universe. He is the God who speaks and the earth melts. There has to be this reverent, holy fear that we have that God is in our lives. Moses, take off your shoes because you're standing on holy ground. Do we sense the holiness, the reverence every time we crack open the Bible? Men, I pray today that we become like David, who feared God. and refused to do certain things because if God didn't say it, he didn't do it. He had a chance to kill Saul twice and didn't kill him, even at the urging of his fellow soldiers. David constantly was trying to see from God's kingdom while he was ruling a whole nother one. His son Absalom takes over his kingdom, and David, rather than fighting and crushing his son, goes walking off saying, I don't know what God's doing, but I got to figure it out. It's the idea that God's first. If he's God, and he gets to go first, he gets to lead, he gets to direct, and I'm ultimately an obedient son to a good father. That's the beginning of wisdom. That's what our sons, daughters, grandsons, granddaughters better be seeing in us. Someone who is strong, convicted, serious about life and where we go, but always with an eye upward. Not my will, but thine be done. Not my will, but thine be done. All right, that's what I have for you guys. Steve Ponoworski, I see that you joined in. Good morning. Brian, I have a praise report on Judy's daughter, brain cancer, healing. Ha ha! Oh my gosh. Okay, I'm going to give you a call, Brian, after this. Fantastic. Praise his holy name. Oh my goodness. What good news. What good news. I have a praise report on Judy's daughter, brain cancer, healing. Praise his name. Also think we had a healing or two down here. Prayed over Bill Libert's knee, and he seems to be walking around a lot better the last couple days. And praying for Kevin, who has got, since he had a head injury, he has got double vision, and been praying for him. All right, guys, that's all I have for you. Blessings on your day. Make it a firmly rooted day, and may someone see Jesus in us today. Peace.